And I saw another report that said Chris Rock was the one who told Will Packer, because the black man producing the Oscars, the first time a black man produced.
It was an all-black production team. So this stole thunder from that. And that's why I'm like, there were so many beautiful black moments that for this incident to have happened on a night that would have been a demonstration of black excellence, to me, that confirms it was staged. Because it completely, in one swipe, eliminated the accomplishments of dozens of black people in one instance.
This is good. I hadn't thought about that. You're right.
But he got the Academy Award. That was the price.
Oscar so white for the next 100 years. You will never be able to complain about you will never be able to be hashtag Oscars so white. You will never be able to complain
because
about
now they can say, right, we gave you your night and look what happened, right? Like now, of course, the production team has nothing to do with what Will Smith did, but because we are always lumped together, right? Like what somebody said in entertainment, some talking head said, Chris Rock had the weight of every African-American on his shoulder in that moment. Because what he did, if he had thrown the hands back, this night would have been a complete and utter disaster. And the only reason it was not is because of his resilience in being able to control himself emotionally in that moment. Unless it was staged, in which case it would explain why he was so controlled in that moment.
You're good.
Either way, he was controlled and everybody went out afterwards. It's not like once the event ended, the two teams were pulling each other, but like everybody went out. Will Smith is like this. I mean, does that look like this was a real incident? I mean,
at Beyonce and Jay-Z's like show, which P. Diddy referenced later on. He's like, "Oh, we're going to work that out at the Gold Show or whatever."
Right, we're all going to the after party because we're all friends. Right, we're all going to be there. And if there was real beef, I mean, this is like a rap battle, but between actors. It's not real.
Like two drunk uncles at the family reunion.
Right. It's two drunk uncles at the barbecue where you're like, see, now it's time for us to go because in another 20 minutes, somebody's going to shoot somebody.
Yeah. And that's why you said this is why Beyonce don't ever show up to shit.
She's like, see, every time we get in a group. So this incident wiped out the fact that this was an all-black produced Oscars night that had the highest rating in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm. The ratings are up 50% from last year over year.
Right. Because of this production team that was all black. Samuel Jackson won an award. We barely even noticed that. Questlove won an award for the documentary of Summer of Soul, which, by the way, is brilliant and a beautiful celebration of black art and music at a time that the black community really needed it. And I think just as far as music history is concerned, I think it was just a shining era for black music. We didn't get to celebrate that. We actually didn't even get to celebrate Will Smith winning the award for playing a family from Compton, right? I mean, the significance of not only just winning an Academy Award as an African-American male, but winning it for the true story of these women who have achieved something only these two women in the world have ever achieved at the hands of someone who never played the game. Mm-hmm. And who represent the African community at its truest form. And we didn't even get to celebrate that. Because we're too busy trying to decide whether or not Will Smith is a feminist while Chris Rock got punked in front of his family. What was his family thinking about this? What was his children thinking about this if this wasn't staged, which I think it was? But if it wasn't, this stole the thunder from several black excellent moments. Mm-hmm. Rita Moreno's role, winning an Oscar, an Afro-Latina LGBT winner. Mm-hmm. For winning the role for Rita Moreno. This, Latinos win less awards than black people do. We didn't even get to celebrate that. But the price, well, I guess Will got his award.
Yeah. And I, this whole time I thought I was sure Richard Williams was dead because he hadn't been making any public appearances. No, he's just ill and he's old.
He's ill.
But he's still alive. So like this was supposed to be
a celebration of everything that man. Now that man had to bite his tongue and have dignity because he didn't have the celebrity and the fame that Will Smith had raising those girls as Jehovah's Witnesses, by the way.
Had to go through
all the things he had to go through, all the resilience he had to teach those girls to have when they were going onto those tennis courts with all these white girls and all these white families who did not see them coming, who underestimated them. We all know that black women have to work 6 times as hard as everybody else for a quarter of the recognition, if we're ever able to compete at all. And I feel like for something like this to have occurred on a night like that is beyond a coincidence to me. But he got his award.
He got his award.
And he didn't have to put on the dress. So now he doesn't have to put on the dress because he did this.
I will say his I don't think his career is over, but he's probably going to take a healthy amount.
He's going to take a hiatus, but he'll
think pieced to death about this. We are already getting think pieced to death. You know, I'm so sick and tired of, like, we've condemned Will Smith, and I'm so sick and tired of people acting like, one, they were traumatized by this. Two,
right,
acting like Will Smith is the biggest, blackest brute to ever exist. He's the most
right. Like, that's why I'm like, okay, guys, like, he slapped somebody. This isn't. I mean, he didn't rape millions of children like the Catholic Church. He
not
slapped
like
somebody.
He shot Chris Rock, and it's not like he was refusing to apologize.
It's done already. And by the way, there's a war.
Tell you he fucked up.
Right, but I think
first, because it took a while for him to put out the official apology and apologize to Chris Rock. But the point is, the guy owned the mistake.
That guy owned the mistake, and he didn't shoot anybody. He didn't murder anybody.
So, I did want to point out a couple of other things about, like, the slap, and also correct, just to make sure that we give her due. It was Ariana DeBose who was the winner for West Side Story, the Afro Latina who's also queer.
Ariana DeBose, yes, the first Afro Latina, openly LGBT person to win an award, and how wonderful it was to have won an award for the outstanding performance by Rita Moreno, the original actress who played the role and was at the event to celebrate with her. So that was a wonderful accomplishment and such a tribute to Rita Moreno. And I think to the West Side Story, there's still something about that story that moves people. And that, to me, is the definition of a classic. So, hats off to the entire team, writers, directors, makeup artists, cinematographers, choreographers who contributed to the movie and to helping this beautiful actress win. Continue your point. I think I interrupted you.
Spielberg made it happen with that. This was the most inclusive the Oscars has been in a very long time, in the sense that you had Ariana DeBose win, Questlove wins.
Yes.
Now, when Chris Rock presented the award for Questlove, he said, "Oh, Questlove and 4 other white guys, and 3 other white guys." It wasn't 3 other white guys; it was 2 other white guys. One of them was actually Indian, and that guy was actually kind of pissed. His last name was Patel. He was a producer, so he wins the award as well. He's pissed because there were actually 3 South Asians who won awards that night as well.
Yes, and we missed all that.
Yeah, we missed all that.
We missed celebrating all of that, right?